afternoon to everyone. And I always give my presentation in a pointer format so that it becomes very easy to recollect later on. So I know this is a session just before the lunch, so I'm going to speak into 4 parts. The first part, what you should expect from me. Second part, what is the background about the group? How does the background about the group helps me in fulfilling my promises? The third part about the fund. In fund, I'm going to tell you only 4 things. Where do I exit? Where do I enter? How do I make the money? Because if I make the money, then only you will make the money. It's not possible if I'm not making the money and you will make the money. And fourth part, safety. And in the last, at the special request of the Danny, I'm going to cover, at times, fund managers have the tendency to go technical way, though we are not technical. If that is not understood by anybody, I'm going to cover it in an absolute non-technical way in 2 or 3 minutes. So what you should expect from me? The topic is very interesting, discovering unlisted gems, unlocking. What is this? Simple. Let's look at my association with PMS Bazaar. When it started? It started exactly 21 months ago. 21 months ago when they identified me, my asset under management, AUM, was exactly less than 100 crore. Today, we are more than 4,000 crore. Of course, we have done something good, but that's called they identified us. And today, of course, they and me both are getting a rich benefit out of that. So that is called about, probably 21 months ago, they identified that this guy is good, this company is good, let's put a bet on this guy. And from 100 to 4,000 crore in a span of 21 months, I guess that's called identifying the unlisted gems. So PMS Bazaar has done their job in identifying the unlisted gems. Let's see if you and me can do our job also. So they are done with their job. So what you should expect from me? In a very simple way, you all know when it comes to Pentomath, everybody back home in India, unlisted, and IPO. These are the only 2 things Pentomath people know about Pentomath. So what I'm going to talk about today is very simple way. There is a lunch after that. If somebody wants to go for a lunch early, 25 minutes were given to me. If I have to cover in 1 minute, the structure or the contours of the fund is investing into those companies which are IPOable in 2 to 3 years' time. That's it. Nothing beyond that. The Series 1, Series 2, Series 3, everything is based on only one concept, investing in those companies which are IPOable in 2 to 3 years' time. Why? What is the most important thing in unlisted market? There's only one important thing in unlisted market, and that is make an exit. Exit maro, paisa leke jao. Those who have exited have made their money. If you do not exit, then you have a paper return. If you exit, then you have money into the bank account. Now it's for you to decide. You want the money into the paper or you want the money into the bank account. So that is what we are going to discuss, how to launch and operate an exit-oriented fund. That's the contours. Nobody has left, so I believe everybody has liked the concept. So what is the background about the group? So Pentomath Group has been India's, one thing I want to make clear, why I'm talking about the group background. I'm a fund manager. As a fund manager, I'm only telling you, never ever invest on the face of the fund manager. Always look at the background. Akela fund manager fund successful nahi kar sakta hai. One fund manager cannot make the fund successful. It has to have the backup of the entire organization. So you need to know what is the backup of my organization. Is it good? Is it in alignment with what I'm going to talk? So what is Pentomath Group? Pentomath Group is India's largest mid-market merchant bank. What is merchant bank? In a simple way, merchant bank is the license issued by regulators to do IPOs. As a group, last 10 years, 6 months, the group has executed 112 IPOs. 112 to be precise. That's practically एक IPO एक month में. So what I'm talking about? When Pentomath comes, we know how to take a mid-sized company to the IPO. And IPO means what? Exit. I'm going to speak for 25 minutes, probably 23 minutes, I'm going to speak on exit only. So Pentomath Group exactly knows how to take a mid-sized company to the IPO. That's the background about the group. That's the first pillar. The group has 4 pillars. The second pillar is most of the guys from Bombay or Mumbai would know about Asit C. Mehta. The India's oldest broking house headed by Ms. Dina. Dina was the first and the only lady chairman of Bombay Stock Exchange, where you all keep on investing since ages. So what has Asit Mehta has given us? Asit Mehta has given us a ready-made wings to operate into the post-IPO scenario. India's each and every institution they have been working with them. All the fund managers who have been giving presentations since 9 o'clock till 4 o'clock have been registered with them. Probably they have been dealing with them for last 4 decades. And how that has happened? Any IPO, if you want to have the better subscription, institutional subscription has to be higher. Institutional subscription is higher, your IPO is going to be successful. So Asit Mehta has given us an institutional subscription in a better way. So एक support हो गया, good till the date of IPO. Another one probably excellent post the date of IPO. एक batsman आ गया, एक bowler आ गया, cricket fever चल रहा है. Are we good? No, we are not good. We are not good. So as we started moving ahead, we realized that if you really wish to be successful, or anybody in this house wants to be successful, you need to have a support of artificial intelligence. There is no argument on that. Try to bring the AI into your business, though we are not investing into AI. Huh? Let me be very clear with you. We are a traditional fund managers. So how does my AI helps me? So the downwards is analyst.ai. Listed company, any information you require, there are hundreds of apps in your mobile. They'll give you everything about that company in probably 10 seconds. What about unlisted? Can you get it? Impossible. Very tough. So analyst.ai is the analytical artificial intelligence app owned by my organization and me and my team, wherein any unlisted company, in 10 minutes, I come to know their GST default, TDS default, any criminal liability against the company. Exactly the report that you get for listed company, I get for the unlisted company in 10 minutes in an analytical format. Benefit? Decision making becomes fast. Unlisted का issue क्या है? The deployment is 2 years, 2.5 years. We are taking deployment period less than 6 months. Why? Because there is a support system, analyst.ai, that helps me and my team in making the due diligence. Not only that, I am giving money to a promoter. I know from today till IPO, he is going to run behind the money. He is going to increase the revenue because that is what is going to give him the higher valuation. You all know, ऊपर revenue बढ़ता है, नीचे bad debts बढ़ता है. It's a no-brainer. How do I stop my promoter from increasing the bad debts? Sir, I cannot enter into day-to-day operations of the company. That's impossible. Analyst.ai, his purchase manager has that app. If he's dealing with any debtor, creditor, anybody, he needs to know the financial health of that. India's any mid-sized manufacturing company would not have this kind of a support system. So this helps not only me in having the due diligence, but also helps my investee company in avoiding their so-called bad debts. And what is the last support system? 𝐸ZEN. What do? I give the money to the promoter. I know promoter is going to increase the revenue. How? Just by giving the money, if I'm expecting you will increase the revenue, impossible. You need to have the data. What is the data? So what is the 𝐸ZEN between you and me, PMS Bazaar? Had they not been here, I would have never been here. So 𝐸ZEN, any mid-sized manufacturing company, if they wish to grow anywhere, any kind of a data, without data, you cannot grow your business. That's where 𝐸ZEN comes. So as I said, do not invest on the face of the fund manager. Openly, a fund manager himself is telling you. So these are my strong 4 support system. Pentomath, good for IPO. Asit Mehta, post-IPO. Analyst.ai, DD agency, in-house. These are all in-house. And 𝐸ZEN helps my investee company in developing the business. So now let's once again come. I'm going to talk 5 minutes on the fund contours in a so-called non-technical way. So where do I exit? So this point, I don't know. This point is the point of IPO. The left side is pre-IPO, right side is post-IPO. You all know I'm not talking anything great. So why exit-oriented fund? So 3 reasons I'm going to give you. Get out, that is called exit on the date of IPO. Why? Ask any listed company fund manager, a CFO or the promoter, what was the most liquid day in the history of your company? It has to be the point of IPO. It has to be the point of IPO. Corona mein market 1 stock gira tha. No stock fell more than 25% in 1 day. On the date of IPO, in your company's stock, 25% somebody is buying, somebody is selling 25% under open regulation. So that's called the most liquid event. Get out when the market is most liquid. Reason number 1. Reason number 2, no hard feelings, but don't try to chase a too big IPO in India. India has not witnessed a big market for more than How many IPOs India has seen more than successful in last 5 years, more than 15,000 crore? Not even 5, sir. Successful. Googly, how many IPOs India has seen successful more than, say, 6,000 crore in last 3 years, more than 200? What does it mean? That means get out within budget of India. Don't try to chase. Nowadays, we hear about the company's valuation, 60,000 crore, 80,000, 1 lakh crore. When have you seen a good IPO of 10,000 crore, sir? Then how can you exit? So if you wish to exit, do not look at me as a fund manager, look at me as a businessman. So my product is company. I am getting out of my company on the most liquid day of that company, point number 1. Point number 2, I am getting out within the budget of what you guys can offer. What India can offer within that budget I am getting out. And most important, I have done that even 112 times. I am not doing this for the first time. That is called an exit-oriented fund. So now, after almost speaking for 15-20 minutes, let me go to the entry. But again, disclaimer, Arpit bhai has started a presentation on a very good note. We should all the fund managers put a disclaimer. So Arpit bhai, आपका disclaimer मैं copy करता हूँ, and I'll say that this is only an education seminar. And if my entry strategy are not in alignment with your strategy, please lunch table पे झगड़े को मत आना. That's my entry strategy. I'm only the custodian of my fund. So what are my love and affection? My simple first love and affection is we have a natural love and affection for the asset-backed companies, traditional industry. Software, fintech, IT, e-commerce, I'm not a person to talk either in favor of them or against them. But 98% money invested by me till today are in the asset-backed company. जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. Asset-backed company are easily sellable. Second thing, I invest into a slightly grown-up company. The company which has already achieved a top line revenue, जिसको बोलते हैं 400 crore, 500 crore, 600 crore. In manufacturing, if promoter knows how to do a business, he has done a revenue of 600 crore, वो धंधा करना जानता है. I am not here to educate him how to do the धंधा. I can only give him the support system. तीसरा, थोड़ा unique है. 92% money invested by me till today is into the PAT positive company. Slightly earned है ना, unlisted में. सबकी तो EBITDA की मारामारी है. So simple है. In my first series, why it has been successful, the average entry level P multiple that I have entered. Unlisted में कोई fund manager, very rarely fund manager would come and talk about the P multiple. In my first fund, the average entry level P multiple was 1,313. Even in fallen market, most of the Ps are in excess of 30.30. What does it mean? 30 divided by 13, I have created 2x to 2.5x on the date of entry. In fund management, my 24 years experience says, you can make money on the date of entry. You cannot make money on the date of exit. Date of exit, only you execute the transaction. पैसा तो entry पे कमाने का sir. Enter low is the only way you can make the money. If somebody is telling you, I can sell it for a higher than the market, I have never seen that happening in my life. हाँ, but enter low करो, market come up and down, you have a margin of safety. See, I have entered at 13 P multiple. One of my investors sitting over here, he was asking, are you affected because of the market? I said, okay, I will not get out at 35 or 40, I'll get out at 30, but still the gap is there. So the enter low. And last but not the least, put money on the promoter. Put money on the promoter. So wherever the promoter shareholding is high, even listed market, wherever the promoter shareholding is high, cyclically the stock will come down. You cannot do anything. But when it comes up, the same stock where promoter shareholding is high comes up much faster than anybody else. So friends, rather than complicating, let me summarize in 1 or 2 lines. What exactly I'm going? What am I banking upon? Who invests on the date of IPO? Anchor, who are they? Mutual fund, insurance and bank. How big are they? 25,000 crore का check हर महीने की 1 तारीख को लेके आते. 25,000 crore, $3 billion check they get at the start of every month. And if you have heard all the presentation, that amount is going to go up. They cannot invest the right side. Unlisted, they cannot invest. Outside country, they're not willing to invest. The earliest point they can invest is the point of IPO. I exactly know what they buy on the date of IPO. What they buy, they like asset-backed companies. They like PAT positive companies. They like companies where promoter has a substantial shareholding. They like the companies where second generation is into the business, because this kind of a company will normally not fail. So try to hit the safety quotient of the anchor and sell your product and get out. That is called managing an exit-oriented fund. And where do I make the money? The simple formula for the valuation is PAT multiplied by P multiple is equal to valuation A multiplied by B. Give them the primary money. Enter at a lower valuation, double the B. Simple way you can increase the money. So that was the third part, and let me summarize in a The last part, a non-technical presentation. So all the friends over here, imagine you are investing in a company where, okay, the slide now. So what are the things that I basically offer to you? Is point number one is IPO conviction. 6 or 7 things I offer. I offer you IPO conviction. How did it come? That's called I'm trading into the market for 10 years. I exactly know what is sellable into the market. What have I done? I have given the primary capital. Very unheard. Entire unlisted. Most of the, entire is wrong on my part. Most of the unlisted stocks trading into the market are secondary. What is the difference between primary and secondary? Primary means, in a simple way, for a layman terms, you have 8 machineries. Tomorrow the 12 machineries will come. The revenue has to go up. Secondary, मतलब अब कल promoter के पास Honda City थी, वो चली जाती है, BMW आ जाती है. Now it's for you to decide you want to support the machineries or you want to support the promoters BMW. So give them the primary. 98% money invested by me till today is into the primary. The balance sheet size has to grow up. Growth capital though. That is where I distinguish as compared to the rest. 92% money invested by me till today are in a PAT positive companies. So that is where you distinguish yourself. That is where you increase the profitability. Just by putting the secondary, the profit will never go up. I always say, balance sheet size increase karo, valuation is secondary. Do not chase the valuation. Valuation is like the salary. Balance sheet size is like the knowledge. Increase your knowledge, the salary has to go up. Without increasing your knowledge, आपकी salary बढ़ गई. Today it will go up, tomorrow it has to come down. That is what is happening. The people who are invest into substance, that is called primary. The balance sheet size goes up. If the balance sheet size goes up, the valuation has to chase you. Never chase the valuation. Never chase the valuation. So that is where I distinguish as compared to the most of the people. So what you should expect from me in a very, very layman term. There are most of the unlisted stocks that get traded into the market. I'm not here to say konsa acha hai, konsa bura hai. That's not my core competence also. But if you wish to invest in them, you will never find them with me. But on the contrary, various IPOs have come and gone. Collectively, all the people in this house have applied whatever the number of IPOs. Collectively, you have not got even 15. If you wish to become the party to those IPO, this is the person. I have totally 18 companies, first fund, second fund, third fund. Now look at the difference. The average valuation of all the companies would be 3,500. Market गिरा इसलिए 3,500 बोला नहीं तो मैं 4,000 बोल देता. The maximum number of investors any company would have is 4. Nobody has that in the market. Nobody has that in the market. So I try to become the first institutional check cutter. And from there till the IPO, technically not too many people come into the IPO. So as a result, क्या होता है? When the IPO comes, not too many people come and try to sell that. IPO के बाद stock नीचे क्यों आता है? Because too many sellers come. But if you have the control over the capital table, the stock price will not come down. So my simple policy is enter before anchor, and as long as anchor is alive, get out. The price will not come down. Anchor is locked in for 90 days from the date of IPO. That is how you manage the fund. That's called safety. Enter before the anchor, and as long as anchor is alive, anchor is locked in for 90 days, try to move out of the situation. Technically, you cannot make the loss. So very quickly, only 2 minutes are there. Most of the unlisted stock that traded into the market, you will not find with me. Okay? Second thing, the basics of making the money is enter low. Invariably, all the companies I have entered till today, all 18 companies, if you look at the market multiple, what is trading, in a down market I'm talking, vis-a-vis what I have entered, you can easily see minimum 2x gap. Enter low is the only way you can make money into the fund management. There is no other way. Last but not the least, cricket fever chal raha hai. In a very simple way, most of the companies would have the, only that fund manager becomes successful. Only that fund manager becomes successful who has plan B ready. Who has plan B ready? What is plan B? Most of the private equity investors will come and tell you promoter buyback is the plan B. How can promoter buy you back if the promoter is having 10%? You need to do the mind mapping. Mind mapping is more important than the watertight agreement. Most of my promoters have their 90% stake into the business. Most of my promoters, all the promoters have second generation is into the business. If you give money to the promoter who has 90%, means he is looking at growth. You give him the money, he will grow, you will grow. But if you give money to a promoter who has 10% stake into the company, and then you make the best of the best agreement, no value. It is going to get defaulted. So put the money, mind map karo. Mind mapping is more important than the watertight agreement. So that is how we differentiate as compared to others. Very quickly, last 1.5 minutes. The first fund started April 22. It was slightly tough to raise the money. 500 crore was raised in 18 months, given a very good returns. Because of that, in India, you do one good job. The second fund was almost 3 times. First fund was 500 crore. It took us 18 months. Second fund was 1,500 crore. It took us 4 months. The third already deployed 70%. The third fund, unfortunately, when we launched it, the market corrected. When we launched it, the market corrected. We launched in the month of December, mid-December. But I personally believe that this is the statement made by one of my biggest, largest investor. India का सबसे बड़ा due diligence agency है market. There is no agency in the world is bigger than the market. My closing statement is, if market has given me 800 applications in a down market in less 1.5 years, something good I have done in my life. That is the reason I could generate this kind of 800 applications. So investors traction, if somebody could raise in a down market, I believe that fund will always do well. So that is how I have ended my presentation. I'm sure most of you guys would have plenty of questions. My colleague Dashnik is there, I would be there. Any questions you wanted to ask, more than happy to answer that. So on this note, I end my presentation. Sorry, you cannot ask me the questions, so you need to come there and ask me the questions. So thanks for tolerating me. Thanks for everything.